Hi, everyone. What if the exact moment you were born, the time, the place, and the position of the stars and planets was a part of a blueprint that your soul chose before you got here? And what if that blueprint is still trying to tell you something right now? That's what we're talking about today. So, if you're interested in that, if you're interested in astrology and getting to know yourself a lot more through that, please stick around. I'm Diane G. I'm an Akashic Records reader and an emotional energy healer, and you're watching Soul Cloud Connect. So, everyone, this episode has been delayed for a while. And if you've watched the past two episodes of Soul Cloud Connect, you know that this is the final part of our mini series, You Planned Your Life. So, in the first two episodes, we explored the idea that your soul might have chosen certain experiences, challenges, and paths before you were even born. But today, we're going to make it very interesting. I'm nervous about today's episode because I feel like I'm exposing myself. Today, we are going to take it a step further. Because if it's true, that it could be that our soul plan can be written in the stars and planets, like, it's just mind blowing, that possibility. So, in this conversation, we're diving into astrology, birth charts, soul purpose, and even the possibility of past life influences reflected in our birth chart. Like, how mind blowing is that? And it's something that might help us understand ourselves a lot better. So, joining me today, you all know her. If you're part of the YouTube community, we all know her as an Akashic Records reader, astrologer, dream interpreter, amongst many things that she can do. Those are just a few of the things that she can do. Everyone, please help me welcome Diana Boles. Yay, Diana, I'm so happy that you're finally here.
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay, hold on.
My
Can
mic
the
is
audience?
on.
Okay.
You can
Can the
hear me.
audience? I can hear you.
I can't hear
Yes, I
you.
can. Okay. Maybe you can come back on.
Let me go out and come back in.
Yes, please. And while you're doing that, I'm going to say hi to the people who are in the chat. Hello, Shining Love Light Truth, Erin Onugent, Leo Omega 8, Tiffany Teasdale. You're very early. Thank you so much for being here early. Millie de la Prida is here. Gary for Grace is here. Hi, hello, Gary. And Bora Bora. Janet, hi. And Mir Dragon is also here.
There you are. I can hear you now.
Yay! Yay! It finally works. This is what happens when we do things live. Some technical issues happen,
Yeah.
but we were okay backstage. I don't know what happened.
Well, they're
Yeah.
technical because it happens a lot when we're just using StreamYard like on the Dream Show.
Hmm.
It happens.
Oh,
So
it happens.
not sure
Yeah, it's
why.
okay. We just roll with it.
Yeah, right. I give up. I just roll with it. That's what we got to do. Just
Yeah,
exit and come back.
yeah. And I was just saying hi to the people who are here. There's Amethyst Lapis Tarot, and Brina is also here. Deep Painless is here. Crystal LJ is also here, and
Crystal.
Rossi, our dear friend Rossi, is here. Hi everyone.
Yay!
Stephanie is here, and Dr. Pam is here. Hi Pam.
Pam.
Jax, thank you so much for all your help, morning. I hope you're also doing well. Okay. And Barbara Crossfield is also here. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Rossi is saying Lady Di. Which of us?
That's
Which of us,
both of us.
Rossi? Yeah, that's both of us.
We both are, especially since you're Cassiopeia. Say it for me. Because
Cassiopeia.
thank you. I've
Yeah.
been saying it correctly all day long. Now I'm on the air. I can't say it at all. Tongue twister. Anyways, that's the real name of the constellation of. Now let me go look again. Um, That's the real name of Shedar. Shidar. Shidar is
Shidar?
the star, and yes, and it is all about. I can't remember. I just studied this, and it
It's okay. It's
zipped
gonna come to
away.
you.
Must not. I'm not. I must not be, because you know how complicated things can get, right?
Yes, I
And
know.
it is across from your Sirma, which is in
Syrup.
that cluster, in the Shapley cluster, which is a black hole, which is something else that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But that's
But
on
these
your
are like
rising sign.
previews.
The other one is on your descendant, and that puts it in the constellation of, in the zodiac sign of Cancer. Sorry, Taurus. And it is also, I should have written it down. I didn't. It's my own fault. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
No, it's okay. These are previews of what we're going to hear later. I mentioned during the intro that I'm quite nervous today because
Well,
I'm going to expose myself. Everyone, I'm going to expose myself. I'm going to expose my birth chart, and it contains a lot of information. That's why I say I'm exposing myself. But Diana, for those who don't know what a birth chart is, can you
oh,
tell us what it means?
sure. Your birth chart is your blueprint. I always think of it as your soul's blueprint, your personality, everything that it makes up the whole of Diane G, or anybody. It is all within your birth chart by location and mathematical equation. And we know that letters have numbers assigned to them, and
Hmm.
everything has a mathematical equation. And every question you ask can be transferred to numbers and done, and find the answer in a mathematical equation. Welcome to the matrix,
That's amazing.
isn't it?
Because
So,
usually when we talk about astrology, like the main thing that people think is that okay, I was born in this month and I'm born in this sign. So it influences me. But the way you're saying this, as you're framing this, is that it's a soul blueprint. So it's not something that is influencing us. It's kind of something that we chose before we came here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
well, I wouldn't say we didn't choose it, because our soul's contract is assigned to come back in the first on place. So, whereas the happenstance in birth, that is all about conception,
Mhm.
right? And you choose when you're going to be conceived. And if you believe that the soul enters at conception, or if you believe that the soul enters at birth, that is part of your soul contract, no matter what it is you believe. And let's just think of how many different um, astrological techniques there are,
Yes,
just
there are
within,
many.
well, just within my tropical, that our Western astrology. There's a
Mhm.
whole list of different things that I could do besides, but I stick to tropical placidus because that's the easiest to explain without having to go jumping through hoops for folks, right?
Okay.
But there's Eastern astrology, Vedic, and then there is Mayan astrology, and there is Chinese astrology. And no matter how we look at it, it is just totally amazing that it all comes back to the same explanation. The
That's
meanings,
amazing.
the meanings all turn out to reflect everything. In Chinese astrology, I'm a bull.
Yeah.
And yes, I am. My Mars is in Taurus, but I'm a Gemini. But guess what's in Gemini?
What?
A lot of things that are in Taurus. The stars are shared from one
The
constellation
bull.
to
Yeah.
another. They overlap each other. They're in parts of the zodiac and in another constellation with another name. And you can't you can't deny what the bottom line is. And the bottom line is the explanation turns out to make sense no matter which method you use. And Mayan is not a 365-day year. or 64 or 63 or whatever it is. But the Mayan calendar works on 254 days.
And yet,
So,
the meanings kind of
and
overlap.
yes, and it changes, like the sign changes every 16 days, but it's it's different colors, and it goes around the cogs in the wheel, and it comes back, and when it comes back, then you go to another year, which is going to be similar to Chinese astrology, where we talk about the ox, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the rooster, all of those. So it's just amazing how all these different systems from all these different cultures, from all these different worlds, because if you think about how hard it was to travel when these things were being created,
Yes.
it all comes back to the same. So that intertwining of cultures had to go somewhere, which brings us back now to galactic astrology. And galactic astrology quite often merges both the Vedic and the tropical.
That's amazing. Okay. So, since we're focusing on galactic astrology, what kind of information can we get from the birth chart
Okay.
in that way?
So when we look at our normal birth chart, the first four things that I always look at is your rising sign, your
Mhm.
sun, your moon, and your north node. And automatically that south node goes with it. So when I look at the galactic chart, I still go to those things first.
Okay.
Where is the time of birth? That is where the chart is. I'll be right
Is
back.
that Gloria?
I'll put an end to that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. While you're doing that, I am going to say hi to the people who just came in. Hi, Tina Babina. Hi, Annie Bear. And yes, thank you so much, Annie Bear, for reminding people to like on both of our channels. Diana is simulcasting on her channel as well. And I want to put up some comments from the audience. Pamela says, so we get to know you more, Diana. Thank you. And Violets for Roses, Stephanie says, Diane, I understand you. I've been looking into my own birth chart and I don't like my Neptune placement, among other things. So I think many of us are aware of birth charts. If you can notice, I don't have a hashtag right now. Usually for Soul Cloud Connect, we have a hashtag so that we can draw for readings later on. But with this topic, I was more thinking about, you seeing how it's done and how it's interpreted, because this is something that you can generate on your own later after the show. And then after the show, maybe you can interpret it for yourself and know, oh my gosh, this is real? Or doesn't make sense to me. It's up to you. But yeah, I hope this sparks your interest.
Oh
There
my
we
God.
go. How are they?
Well, my neighbor came home from work across the street.
Oh, that's why they got excited.
Oh, yeah. Let's all have a little ruckus. Nothing like
Okay.
Julia and Gloria at the same time. This place is a zoo.
Yes. So we were just talking about what kind of information we can get from the galactic birth chart.
Okay, right. So the rising sign is important because that's when you first open your eyes.
Yeah.
And it's a very intimate moment at the time of your birth, right? And so I always look at that as slightly more important than your sun sign.
Yeah.
Because it's who you are when you let your hair down. You come out of there all covered with gunk, in a exposed, as well as your mother being exposed.
Yes.
And it can be a rather sticky situation. And yet everybody loves you, right?
That's true.
Right.
You're adorable at that moment.
Right. But your
And
sun
I have
sign
to
is
agree with that.
right. And your sun sign is equally as important because it's how you are in when you meet people, when you are close to them, that doesn't mean your sun sign goes away. It's just that when you go to let your hair down, you're going to show them your rising sign. Or even if it's somebody at work, whatever. It's when you get into close relationships. When you want to scream at your kid brother, something like that. And then your moon is about the emotions that trigger that. So already we're seeing those three things working together really well.
Yes.
So they are the basis of importance. But I find that the North Node is equally as important because having been a teacher of small children and having been a small child myself at one time and having been a mom, it is that North Node is how you progress, how you move forward. And the South Node always comes with it because you have to let go of something in order to be able to move forward. So those are the first four things that I look at in order to get a full scope of someone's chart, their birth chart. Then beyond that, we work with fixed stars, all the planets. Now I put in asteroids because for me, asteroids are the details in your life.
Yeah.
Fixed stars, the things like the Shapley attractor and the great attractor and the galactic center and the great galactic center. And those are things that pull things in. When we talk about the Shapley attractor, it is an attractor. It is a wormhole. And this Shapley attractor is a wormhole in the full sense that it has a staging. It makes things happen. There is a culmination and then it starts to go out. The great attractor sort of works the same way, but it is not a legitimate wormhole like the Shapley is, in that it doesn't have a stage where things happen. It's just like a way through, right? A way through.
We
So
have a
they're all,
question from someone in the chat. Dr. Pam is asking, is the South Node a reflection of our past or karma?
well, how do you, yes, our past and our past lives. And so looking at these things and then looking at the fixed stars, that's where we get the star seeds. That's where we see where they have come from. So when we are talking about, let me get that note page. When we talk about Orion star seeds, they come from Mintaka or Rigel or Betelgeuse or Bellatrix. When we talk about Andromedon, yeah, say that word 3 times.
Bellatrix.
That one. And then when we're talking about Andromeda, they come from Syrah or Alpharats or Almach or Maroc. The Palladians come from Alcyone, Atlas, Seleno, Electra, Maya, Merope. You can say that. You can rattle those off. They're the Palladians.
Yeah.
Merope.
Merope. Leone.
Yes.
That's my home.
Leone. This is,
And Maya is my home.
it is a very day because of all the solar flares that we have just come through. Anyways, and Serope and Tigeta. And then the Draconians are Thubin, Edamin, Eltonin, Rastaban, which I love that name, and Ethbin and Elrakis. And Syrians just have Sirius, A, B, and C, right?
Yes.
And the Lyrans have only Vega. That's the one we talked with them. And the Arcturians have Arcturus. The Anunnaki have Nibiru and Sumeria. And the Polarians have Polaris. That's it. So
So those are
yeah,
all reflected in the birth chart.
yes, these are reflected in the birth chart through this galactic astrology, but don't think that that is limited. This is
Okay.
um because there's what, thousands of fixed stars,
Yes, there
and
are.
they're all connected to these galaxies. The Shapley attractor, excuse me, is it the Shapley? The Shapley attractor has, um, let me tell you, let me get my notes. Let me make sure
Yes,
I say it
please.
correctly.
While
Next
you're
page.
checking your notes, I want to answer a question
Sure.
from Leah, who is saying, I heard Jesus was a Pleiadian. Well, he has been in many star systems. I believe, yes, on this. Pleiadian and Syrian, but more on Sirius is what I'm getting. But Mother
Yeah.
Mary, I believe, is more Pleiadian. Also
Mhm.
Syrian, but yeah.
The Shapley attractor is deep, deep space, and we have a difficult time seeing it because of our own Milky Way plane. Okay. And when I say it is located in the center, I don't mean in the center of the galaxy. I mean in the center of, from the center to the edge. So it's located in the constellation
Ah,
Libra to Virgo. Okay.
okay, I get it now.
Okay. So
Yes.
when we think of it, a lot, most of the universes are in that golden spiral.
Hmm.
The and so we have to think of it as it's in between the fourth and the fifth spiral that shoots off of the Milky Way. And because of where it is in our plane, because it is actually located in Libra, but also can be seen in Virgo, and also can be seen in different constellations depending on if you're in the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, and whether it's winter sky you're looking at. So it can get very complicated. So we always just try to keep it as simplified as possible,
Yeah.
right? And narrow it down so we're not losing you, right? But
Yeah.
what else is so very interesting about it? It has it's bigger than the great attractor,
Mhm.
and it pulls everything towards it. It because it has such a high density, and it has so much gravitational pull because of that. So it is like some scientists are saying, well, it's sucking everything into, are we part of a greater thing? Well, yes, we are part of a greater thing. We know that already. And in the Shapley, it has so many stars that there's no way it can be named.
Mhm.
There's no way
Yeah.
you can memorize all of them unless you yourself are just a genius.
Yeah. And Erin is also saying there are so many stars, at least one for every person on Earth, it seems.
Well,
I think so
imagine,
too.
right? Imagine that in, let's see, we have, stop chewing your nails, Grizzly.
I love your dogs.
Yeah, I'm telling you. He confuses me because now I can't find what I wrote down, and I know I wrote it down because it was so important. So the supergalactic center has 50 to 60 galaxies within it, and it too is pulling things together. The supergalactic center is at like 7 degrees of Sagittarius. And then, I'm sorry, two, I just lost my page.
No worries.
Ah, ah. It is the supergalactic center. Sorry.
Mhm.
That has, see, we're all nervous. You're not the only one. I am nervous.
You're
50,
nervous. I'm the one who's getting exposed. Who's going to get
I
exposed?
know. And I'm bearing myself willingly. How
Yeah.
much doesn't she know, right? So there are 50 galaxies and 30 trillion suns.
Wow.
Right? Our star is a sun. 30 trillion suns. Can't memorize
That's a
that.
lot.
That's right. So the galactic wrong page. The super galactic center and the galactic center are two different things. That the galactic center is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, but it
Mhm.
shifts because the earth tilts and things shift a little bit. And there's, like I said, the night sky, the morning sky. So the galactic center is really planted at 27 degrees and give yourself an orb in either direction. That means if you have a planet there,
Mhm.
it is an influence for you, and it is a place of strength. It is a place of power. It
Hold
is a
on.
place, yeah,
I may I pause you a bit for that. I want to show people the birth chart now so
sure.
that we know they know how what we're talking about. Where is it? Oh, it's here. So everyone, oops. This is my birth chart. Can you hear me, Diana?
And that is without all of the galactic seed
Yes.
stars. So you're a Virgo,
Yes. My sun sign,
and your rising sign is in the great Shapley,
Scorpio. Oh,
the
is
great
it?
Shapley, right? So you're let me look at your chart on this end of the
I
world.
just thought it was in Scorpio. I didn't know it was in Shapley.
Yeah, there's so much that we don't know that we have to really take a look at, right?
Yeah.
So the Shapley, your rising sign is at 6 degrees of Scorpio, and Simra is at 3 degrees of Scorpio. So that's within orb. And then your Venus is at 4 degrees. So you're right there. I mean, your Venus is even influenced by this Shapley. People are drawn to you. You love, and it's the love of the finer things, the things that make you comfortable. I'm not saying you got to spend a lot of money. I'm just saying the things that make you comfortable are the things that you seek out. And because you're a Virgo, that all works together because Scorpio
I
is
manage it well.
only, yeah, Scorpio is in a sextile to Virgo. They support each other. They're important to each other, right? So there's that. They're 60 degrees apart. But another very interesting thing is you have Crux, the fixed star Crux is also there in Scorpio, and that's where your Pluto is. Now, I don't have very much information on Crux because I haven't gotten that far,
No, it's okay.
but we will. As things calm down and I get farther along in studies, I will be able to talk about all of that for you.
Yes, please use my birth chart as your guinea pig.
I will.
Use me as your guinea pig.
Yeah, for sure. So, what struck me the most is your moon.
Mm-hmm.
Your moon is in Cygnus. Cygnus is the swan constellation. And it's the bigger swan. The southern sky, the southern cross, this is considered the northern cross. And in the southern cross, the northern cross is much bigger and much more spread out than when she's in the southern cross. So, in that, I'm sorry, I said your moon. Your moon is in Pegasus. It is your north node that is in Cygnus. This is how you went forward. You have the star Deneb is the very center tail star of Cygnus. Okay. So you're
Of the
flying.
summer triangle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, it's part of the summer triangle. Absolutely. And that, and then you can see, you know where the triangle is. Look deeper. That's where Cygnus is, with her wings spread out wide. No, stop. Stop. Nobody's playing basketball. Stop it.
I think she wants to contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, right. That's grizzly for you. But the things about this is where, this is your north node. And what you let go of is back in Leo, right? Because that's opposite Aquarius, and that's where your north node is. It's at 25 degrees. You knew you had to get out of there. You knew you had to leave wherever it was you left. This is where you became earthbound. It was emotional. So it was the destruction of something in your star.
Did you say it was Leo?
Well, your south node is Leo, 25 degrees of Leo. But 25 degrees of Leo is far too far away from Regulus to say it's Regulus, you know? So I have to look deeper to look at night sky, morning sky, and all of that to get that under control and be able to explain it to you. But what the psychic in me, who uses these things as an explanation, as not so much predictive as it is connecting the dots. The energy is there. Here's what you should be forewarned about, or here's what, it's not a warning, it's something joyous is coming your way, or whatever the case may be. But to look at this and know that your south node is in line with Pene Caudalis and Benda and Satyr, all the stars that lead up the body to the neck, all the way through to the head. Your north node is showing where you went. And this is where I think you had your first life, here on Earth. And you came in and became a Knights Templar. 3 times. Twice as a man, once as a woman. Now, I didn't come to this conclusion on my own.
Okay.
Part of what happened was this great big revelation. Have you ever heard of Oak Island?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Oak Island is definitely a place where the Knights Templar and the Knights of Malta, because the Knights of Malta were the continuation of the Templars once they were persecuted by the church in the 1300s. Friday the 13th is Friday the 13th because that's when the Pope and his men attacked and murdered so many of the Knights Templars. Okay.
Yes.
So it's an unlucky, that's why we think of it as an unlucky day. But anyway.
Friday the 13th, yes.
Um,
It's fascinating to me when you say that because I've always been interested in the Knights Templar. Like at that time when I was like being exposed to these things, I was really interested in the Knights Templar. So when you say that, I'm like, really?
and it resonates.
Maybe it's a remembrance.
Yes, because it resonates. We are drawn to things that resonate to our soul. Why does it resonate to our soul? Because we've had a past life there. That's what the Akashic is about.
Mhm.
What has stored information in our DNA, in our ancestry, right? And so many of us who signed up for 1960s revolution and this revolution, because it is a part of the 1960s for so many of us old people now. And so in that, when I saw that, Now, I'm a big fan of Oak Island because I was a Knights Templar. And I've been watching it since its inception, which was 13 years ago. And these guys may not have found the mother lode yet, but they have found some treasure. Let me tell you. I mean, just things that prove that they were there in the 500s, not just the 1500s.
So
So,
it's really a long-standing organization.
a
I mean,
very
there's
long,
still Knights Templar right now.
right. And Oak Island is in Canada, in, hmm, I can't think of what bay it's in right now. Anyways, it's on the History Channel. And the last night, or the last show I watched, they were proving once again where the the where they unloaded the boats and how they built this tunnel that comes from all the directions. And when you lay out Cygnus, you find your way through the tunnels, which they have been doing. But these tunnels are not something you can travel these by foot. These tunnels are water zones that get flooded if somebody goes in there and tries to steal the mother lode. So they keep trying to find another way in. Now, most of that a lot of that has caved in, and they were in a shaft a couple of years ago, and it caved in on them, and they dropped the whole load that they had. Now, I'm not saying they could hear coins jingling, but it was Templar loot. And of course, this is part of the search for the Holy Grail. Okay. Now, on that particular show, another astrologer, archaeologist who was in England, France, I'm sorry, she's from France. She had drawn lines from two of the main churches that the Templars were in and the chapel that was also dedicated to the saint that the churches are all about. Saint Rudadeckia, something like that, right? So in that, she is, now that's your private stuff. So that's on here. It's on the other page. In that, that's Pegasus. Here we want Cygnus. You came through, you passed through Deneb, but you were within an orb to Deneb. Deneb is located just at 0 degrees on your chart. Okay. But then we have that very center star, the beta, and then the wings are there, and they're all in enough proximity and orb to you to show that that's where you came. You were one of those times that survived and brought the mother lode in. And another time you were one of those who were building those shafts. And another time you were a nun who was living at the same time as the saint. And that is in the 500s. Now, when she drew the ley lines from these three positions, all three of them started out wide because the two churches are like 20 miles apart or so. And in the center of that is this chapel. And all three of those lines, and mind you, everything is geometry, formed a perfect triangle that eventually merged in the middle of the ocean and all went into Cygnus at Deneb. And the
It
way
all
the cross is laid out, because they have put markers, the Templars put boulders all along the way to be markers of what you got to look for. And when Cygnus lines up with that, you know you got it. you know you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and those are in my birth chart. Like, are
And,
those like clues for me to get to know that past life?
right? And when I saw that, I just about jumped off the couch because I had already been thinking about that. And I didn't even know, what, I didn't know what that episode was going to be. That was upcoming. I binge it. So I wait till the whole thing is over with. And there it was. And then it was like, oh my God, she was at all three of those lives. She
Yeah.
was participating each time. So that was my first. And then you have Pegasus, very prominent in your chart also. So that was another, oh my God, this woman is just filled with strength. Well, your Virgo sun and your Shapley attractor are sitting on your rising sign, and your moon being lined up with Pegasus, and your north node being lined up with the Cygnus. Oh my gosh. So I was, I spent a whole day just on those two things.
It's a rabbit hole.
I know, I know. I couldn't even get past it. So that doesn't even include your Mars, your Mercury, your Venus, your all the others. Your Saturn and Jupiter are opposite each other, and they're opposite each other in another very interesting place. You have your Mercury, Venus, Mars. Jupiter is in Cancer, in Canis
Yeah.
Major, on Sirius A. Hello, thank you very much. And what is it opposite? It is opposite your Saturn in Capricorn, also involving Sirius A. And on your chart, did I write down? The star there is Althar, Alathar. Let me turn my light on.
Okay.
The star in your Saturn is, yeah, Alatharfar. Alathfar. 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 Which isn't listed in anything that I've actually studied, and I don't believe it came up in here. But some of
Yeah, I
these,
haven't really heard of it yet as well with
right,
starseed history.
and some of these stars have been renamed, which makes it a little more difficult because I'm looking at Sumerian names, and the star seed has the modern name, or they print out they print out and just say galactic, but it's only the super galactic that, or the super galactic that you have a strong connection with, because the the galactic center is not the same, and you don't have anything in Sagittarius. But so we have to look at everything. So
Yeah.
first, the best place to start is always first with those four things, and then the rest of your planets. Now you've got the basis. Then I begin looking at the asteroids and some of the fixed stars, the Aldebaran, and some people say Aldebaran, which is a rename. That's not the original name, or Regulus, or Antares, or Fomalhaut. And then I look at the next four great things: the Shapley attractor, the Great Attractor, the Galactic Center, the Super Galactic Center. And then there is more that needs to be looked at. But now we just deal with your chart at one at a time. If I showed you, oh, I'm sorry, I used it as I have to show you your birth chart, because I have all the asteroids in your typical Western astrology birth chart. I have as many asteroids as I can put. Your chart is filled. So when I go to get to the point that I'm looking at the asteroids with your galactic, we're going to see more connections with fixed stars. and more stars, more star seed connections from other universes. Universes we haven't even named yet. Universes that we haven't applied a star seed to. So just getting started. I'm trying to keep it simple, but I complicate things all the time. So,
I'm following so far.
yeah. So your beautiful 11th house, which is you, that 11th house actually belongs to Aquarius. So now we have to think like an Aquarian. Your sun is not in its natural home because you're a Cancer. Its natural home would be the seventh or the sixth house of Virgo. Okay. Did I say Cancer? Sorry. It would be the fifth house of Virgo. But you're not there. Sixth house of Virgo. Keep tripping over my tongue. It's in the 11th house. This makes you quick thinking, not that you wouldn't be, but you would be more, you're more humanitarian oriented than you are service to others. You're not so much the nurse as you are, this is what's got to happen. This is what's got to happen. This is what's got to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Where the nurse is in there cleaning up and taking care of, right? And offering support.
Yeah.
You do that, but you do that with the outlook of an Aquarius because it's in the 11th house. And that 11th house is that magic portal and is very strong
Yeah.
and is becomes difficult for you because you as a Virgo are a changeable sign, right? You're mutable. And Virgo, I mean, Aquarius is fixed. The 11th house is fixed. I'm not, it's got to be right and I got to do it. And this is the way it's got to happen. And that's how
Yeah, I
Aquarius,
have that kind of stubbornness.
that's right. See, and Virgo's like that because Virgo is fastidious, but you can sway, you can talk, you can be shown a better way or an easier way or a more understanding way. But because of where it's located for you, it's harder for you to give in to that sway.
True. Like
And then you
when a
have Mars,
process is fixed, I have to go
right?
by the book. Yeah.
Well, and you have Mars right there with it. And they're within orb of each other. Where's that other chart of yours? They're in orb of each other by 5 degrees. Well, the sun, we always give the sun a 10-degree orb. The same thing with the moon and the same thing with the rising sign. That means up to 10 degrees, there's going to be influence because it's the sun,
Yeah.
because it's the moon. They're Illuminatis, right? And that rising sign, how long were you screaming before they finally gave you to your mother? You know, things like that. So it is important. And so with those things, we give a 10-degree orb. Then the bigger planets, depending on what it's conjunct, I sometimes will go with a 7-degree orb, like with Jupiter. If it's conjunct Saturn, or because, you know, things are going strong, and Saturn used to rule Sagittarius, and now Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Before they found Jupiter, before they found Uranus, before they found Neptune and Pluto, those signs were all ruled by Saturn. So he still has his hand in the pot. He's the grandpa. He, you know, he's the legacy. So because he still goes in there when he's in that sign, he kind of wants to take over. And you'll notice when Saturn is going through your Virgo, it's going to be, oh, wait, maybe I need to wait on this one. Maybe I need to think twice about this one. Maybe I need to slow down. Maybe Saturn is telling me follow the rules. Okay. So things like that affect the chart with transits. Everything works together. It's a stew. It is a pot of soup, and it's always better the third day, right? So we're always in constant motion, even though our blueprint doesn't change. So I always look, if your planets are not in the house that the sign rules, look at it and say, well, it's paying rent with an option to buy, because that's your blueprint. It's never moving. And you cannot, you can change your life. I'm not saying that, but you can't do anything to the house because you don't own it. So, like going in and remodeling, yeah, some things are still going to turn out the way they're going to turn out because you don't have ownership of that house, right? You have to
So the
get permission.
challenges that we go through in life, they're also reflected in a birth chart like this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing is, how quickly does it go through a sign? How quickly does it change? Like the moon changes signs every 2.5 hours or every 2.5 days. The rising sign changes every 2.5 hours. So you go through 12 signs in 24 hours with the rising sign, and you go through the moon, the 12 signs with the moon in 30 days. So it is a complete in 28 days, and the sun is a degree a day. So it's 30 days and it's a new sign. 30 days till the Gregorian calendar messed a couple of things up. If we have a leap year, okay, then there's a couple of signs that get trapped in that leap year. And it makes the day that the sign changes different. That one particular year is going to be at 21 degrees instead of 22. Or it's going to be at 19 degrees. Poor February, it's at 19 degrees. It doesn't even get a full 20. So just things like that. These are the little details that sometimes complicate somebody if they don't have any basic understanding. So it's crazy to try to go into depth about that stuff, but it's there, and that's where you find what you're doing. That Venus of yours that is over there on your rising sign, I love it, I want it, I can have it. But then if Saturn's there, but do you need it? That'll be the
That's how
question in
I
your mind.
think.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? And it's on the Shapley attractor. So here comes your mysticism. Because it's on the Shapley attractor, and that is part of mysticism, and you draw things to you, what are you going to do? You're going to put it out there to the universe. If it was meant to be, it's going to come back to you for free. And you're going to
It's
get
like you're going inside my mind, Diana. I just want to pull out some of the comments from
okay.
the chat. Annie Bear is actually posted your link or your email address. Yes, for a private
Oh,
astrology reading with Diana. This is her email. It's also in the description, so you can find it there. And she also says she will blow your mind. She even figured out my birth time. She's blowing my mind right now, Annie Bear. Like she's inside my mind. This is how I think, and she can see it through my birth chart. So this is very interesting.
thank you.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't just do it for everybody, because I'm going to go inside your brain. I'm going to
Yeah.
start digging around. And I like rabbit holes, so look out. If you hear somebody munching a carrot, it's me.
Yeah, it's exactly how I think. Like, do I need it? No. So I can hold off on it. And then if I really want it, I'm saying, universe, go do your thing.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. When you look at my chart, okay, my North Node is in Aries. I want it. I got to have it. But also my Saturn is in Virgo, and it says, but do you need it?
Do you need it?
Right? So as I'm like, "Hmm, how can I get this for free? My turtle rattle. I didn't want to buy one because you never can be certain that that was made by a Native American.
Hmm.
And it was so outrageously priced in the stores in Virginia. And I just wanted one so bad. And I manifested it on this path that I walked. For 2 years, I was walking this path, and as I would get it close to home, I would be thinking, I wish I had a rattle. I wish I had a turtle rattle. And one year, mid spring, there's this there's this body. Tail, feet are still attached, whole shell. Nobody ate it. Any missing parts are just things that were frozen off. And I filled it with beans, and I have a great stick, and raptor feathers come to me all the time. And in that stick, I mounted a quartz crystal. So that is inside of this as well. And it just came to me. It just was given to me. And I have to tell this story because this is one, this one's for the books. I
Hmm.
moved here. I'm in the country. This should be not a busy road, and people don't pay attention and they just zoom down that road anyway, even though it's not supposed to be a busy road. And I kept saying, oh God, I wish that they would put in a roundabout. I wish they would put it in a roundabout. And in 5 years since I have decided that, just about every single time I went through that intersection, I said, I wish there was a roundabout here. I wish there was a roundabout here. Well, guess what? The intersection has been closed for a week and will be closed for the rest of the summer because they're putting in a roundabout. Did I
You
do it?
manifested it.
Did I? Or was I already picking up on, you
Someone
know,
doing it.
right? The road commission has to get the money. It has to have a plan. It has to buy the land in order to do that, because now to put a roundabout in, they have to take corners of other people's acreage.
Mhm.
So they have to compensate for that. It's not just an easement. This is a permanent structure. So I'm just saying, you can do this. You start picking up
Yeah.
on the energy around you, you know when it's time to start singing and praying. So it's always a possibility. I can't
So
believe
for the
at the hour.
Yeah, we're almost at the top of the hour. So for the people who are just discovering, astrology and birth charts, how is like looking into their birth charts going to benefit them if they're just starting out?
Well, in the beginning, it won't be so much about what's coming to you, but how you got to where you are. Okay? Because in the beginning we discuss your blueprint.
Mhm.
And that's not so much about transits. It's the clock stops when you're born. They write it down. They also write down where you are located, the day, the year. All of that is very important because all of that is the map at the moment you take that first breath and they click the camera's lens. That's where it's at. So it first becomes about connecting the dots and see.
Oops.
Oh, it's okay. Like if you were estranged from one of your parents, that usually shows up in the fourth house or in the 11th or 10th house of Saturn. And those are the thing, like, okay, I had a terrible childhood. My father beat me, or my dad was a drunk, or my mom died when I was young, and things of that nature. Those things have a tendency to show up in your chart. And by going through that and by connecting the dots to the past, you begin to see the patterns that repeat themselves because it's all cyclical. We have the Saturn return, we have the Jupiter return, we have your solar return. That happens every year. The sun goes back to the place it was when on the day you were born. Now, there are discrepancies of a degree or two on your exact birthday, but it's still in the vicinity. It's in a 2-degree orb. It's very seldom more than, I've never seen it be more than 2.5 days from the year of your birth to where it is. Say I was born in 1949, and in 1965 it didn't happen on my birthday. It happened 3 days. It was in the same spot on 3 days before my birthday. But so what? It's still my birthday. The sun's
Yeah.
in tonight, right? Celebrate the whole month. You're given the whole month for a reason. And then you just go from there, and then you begin to understand that now the influence, the outer influence, are of the rest of the world, which we are a part of, is in the transits and how they aspect your chart, whether it's conjunct something, opposite something, trine something, sextile something, square something, half square something, square and a half to something, trine and a half, a uh, in a negative position or a negative harmonic. There's nothing negative in a harmonic where you have to be doing adjustments all the time. A quintile, you know, that's like always adjusting the dial on the volume control when you're going over the radio, over the railroad tracks with an old time radio in the car, and it jiggles and shakes and the volume goes away and the station gets lost and you have to find it again. Crazy things like that. So, like the fifth and the seventh harmonics and the ninth harmonic can be difficult for some people at certain times, depending on what the aspect is, right? And so, and what planet is in that aspect. So, those are the things that we look for in astrology when we're trying to do something predictive. I have um, I've looked at Allie's chart and said, before you go on this vacation, you better go look at your car. And sure enough, it's a good thing she took it.
Yeah.
And
I think I
then,
remember that time.
right, you were definitely in the chat then. And
Yeah.
then all of her she's a Libra. So she's already got kidneys, because that's another thing. Each sign controls a certain body part. You can draw the stick figure of the body with the sigils that are for the signs. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini in the arms, Cancer, Leo, and then you go deeper and you draw that sign for Leo. It kind of looks like the heart before you cut it in half, because this is the heart when it's cut in half and opened, not when it's in that fist that Leo looks like. And then Libra with the kidneys. And then that P, that's your spleen. The P for Virgo is your spleen. It's your upper intestines and all of those things. Then you get into Scorpio. It's not just the sex organ, but it's the lower intestines and other issues. Then it's the thighs for Sagittarius. It's the knees for Capricorn. It's the calves for Aquarius, and it's the feet for Pisces.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Rossi is also saying the signs and body parts, they match the tree of life too.
Yes, absolutely. The Kabbalah.
And
Absolutely.
and Jax is saying, I think this is with regards to Leo. I'm pretty sure I'm more of a squiggly line.
Jax, what sun sign are you?
Yeah, I'm interested to
I've
know
never
that as
asked.
well.
I've never asked. And even if Valeria said it, it went in one ear and out if we were on a show, because we have to go back and watch these things ourselves. What did I say? Do I have
Yeah,
to go back and apologize?
I'm interested to know about your sun sign as well, Jax. Oh, Capricorn and Western, really?
Capricorn, awesome.
That's
And then your
amazing.
rising and your moon,
The big three.
or she has seventh house. Yeah.
Because Jax has a wonderful sense of humor. I'm also
Ah,
interested to know.
well,
Oh,
we know
Jax
that
doesn't
she's
know.
having. Oh, you don't know those. Okay. So, because the reason why I asked that is because I know you're having bladder problems. And most of us do, because it's through the chat that I find out myself. So, I'm looking for Libra. I'm looking for Scorpio. I'm looking for the eighth house, but I'm looking for the seventh house because a lot of bladder problems come from the kidneys. So those are the things that I would look for to see, not necessarily how to heal that, but what could be the cause of it. Because if you can find the cause, you can find a better pathway to healing.
Yes, that's true. And also, Rossi is saying she's a Libra, so it's kidneys for her.
Yeah.
The kidneys.
Well, and then it
Interesting.
also plays in with your other signs, you know, like then, okay, so what planet is in Libra, and what planets are in the seventh house or fifth house, sixth house? No, back to the seventh house. What planets are in the seventh house? That's the house of Libra. And how does that all fit together?
That's
So
interesting
it could be
to find
starting
out.
someplace else in your body and ending up there.
And again, this can be reflected in someone's birth chart.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of information. I'm just
It's
fascinated by it.
overload, right?
Because if you haven't noticed it yet, everyone, I'm not very good at it. I tried dabbling in it a little bit, but it's like, oh my gosh, there's this degrees and there's this that and too much information. But Diana, you have this wonderful gift where you look at this and it all makes sense to you, and you're able to bring it to people to put that information into simpler terms for people in a way that will be very useful for them.
Thank you. Thank you. I Because it is a story. Our lives are
Yeah.
stories. And it's we're tremendous. Every single one of us is a universe in our own self. We have all of this in us. And how many other universes are in there that we haven't even discovered yet? Because we got, 30 trillion suns in the Shapley attractor and 50 galaxies we don't even know about yet. We can't. And that is sucking it in. That great attractor and the Shapley attractor, it is like this vacuum, and it is pulling everything closer. Some astronomers are like, oh gosh, the Milky Way is going to be part of the Shapley attractor, and now we're just going to be, well, we already are. And I heard something the other day, I can't remember who was talking about it, but it's true. The universe was always the universe. You can't
Mhm.
start something out of nothing. So one day God said, let there be light. Okay. Because it was just a dark, dark void. But there had to be something in there. There had to be something in there. And if it was just the voice of God, isn't that something in there? It's that Lyran. It's the prism
Mhm.
before the explosion, and then the prism
It's
afterward.
where things began.
You have a Lyran designation in here too, don't you?
I know it from my Akashic records, from
Okay.
reading my Akashic records, but I didn't know that it was in my birth chart as well. That's why I asked a while ago if it was the South Node that you
Oh,
mentioned something about Leo.
and it's your Neptune. Lyra
Oh, in my Neptune too.
is in Lyra. That's amazing. And Scorpio, your Pluto is on Crux, which is in Scorpio, and he can be a little devilish because that's in your first house. I am that I am, And then you
Yes, I
have
can be. I
so
can be.
your North Node is in Aquarius. That puts your South Node in Leo, but haven't found a fixed star that it's near yet. That doesn't mean I won't. It's just I haven't come across it in my studies so far. These charts do take a long time, and I would just be ignorant if I tried to work on more than one at a time.
Okay.
You know,
And
because I
people
can
are
say
actually, there are
Cassiopeia.
a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are requesting for a second part of this show. Would you be
Okay,
open to that?
I would,
Okay.
I would,
So
but
so when you find more information,
yes. So
how about
let's
that?
let's put this. Let's start looking for this. Let's see. What do we got? April 26th. So let's start looking for it like around May, the end of May. Maybe,
Yeah, let's work on
maybe,
let's work on the schedule after the show. But
yeah.
yeah, everyone, thank you so much for suggesting that. We weren't planning on that, but there's just so much
I'm
information in the
I'm
chat that
so
I'm even
glad.
surprised.
I was
Like
like,
when we were planning the show, Diana showed me her notes. It was like 3 pages. Okay, 3 pages. And then when we came here, it's like a whole bunch of papers. I was like,
these these are notes, and they're stapled together. Some of them are printouts because I can use them for other things. This this is all Diane printouts on her chart, and this one too. But I have notes on the back of that one because I was dealing with Cygnus and um, Pegasus the most till I saw your North Node, right? So that's
yeah.
Cygnus, and then that Moon, that's Pegasus, and then that rising sign. Well, I got to jump back into the Shapley attractor because, oh my God, I can't ignore this rising sign. And then that
Okay.
sun, I haven't even looked at that yet. There doesn't seem to be anything attracted to your sun here, but because you have the Shapley at 2 degrees, it's at 2 degrees of Libra to begin with. Your sun is at 23 degrees. That's just out of the cusp of the sun. It's just out of the reach, but it's not out of the reach for Mars if I gave it a big orb. Because it's on your rising sign and the rising sign has a 10-degree orb, I got to look at your Mars and see how even though they don't put that with the Shapley, or wait, maybe they do. I can't remember everything.
Erin is saying each person is a universe. So true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm finding that out now, Erin.
They
There's a
they
lot.
have that on your super galactic center. I've been into the Shapley, but I haven't been. And I'm confusing things. The Shapley is over here on your rising sign, but the super
Okay.
galactic center is over here, where your sun is and where your Mars is. That's 2 degrees of Libra. But when you were
Amazing.
born, did they put it in Libra? Let's see. What does this say? No, 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 no. Mars is in Virgo. Yeah. It's amazing,
So
isn't it?
there's still a lot to unpack. It really is amazing. And everyone, if you're interested in getting a reading from Diana, her details are in the description. Her email address is in the description. So you can contact her in the future if you'd like to get a reading with her. Again, she's not just an astrologer, she's also an Akashic Records reader like me. She's a dream interpreter. You can watch her on the Dream Show. Speaking of the Dream Show in your other shows, Diana, what's coming up for you this week?
Uh, this week. Okay, so Tuesday will be the Dream Show at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm not doing anything this week. We're not on Friday this week, are we? Is that our week for
Uh,
Friday?
I think so. Oh,
Okay,
I
so we
think
may
it
have
is.
a
Oh,
show.
but I have to check my calendar. Let's talk about it
Okay,
backstage
so
after the
we
show.
may have a show on Friday, and then I also will have the full moon, the full moon on Friday. So Val and I will probably go on at 8. That's our usual time, Eastern. I'm kind of trying to take it easy because I took my first shower. I took my first shower since
That's
February
awesome.
28th. I've been going up and down the basement stairs. I've been walking without a cane, outside, no cane, no nothing. Today I'm a little bit weaker because I overdid it yesterday. In fact, I didn't go on Maria's
Take it
show
easy on
because
yourself, Diana.
I overdid it. I was so excited to be walking without the cane.
Yeah.
And just to take that shower, the water rushing over the body for the first time in this long. Here we are at the end of April. It's been since the end of February. 2 months. Like, oh my God.
That's
It
amazing.
made
I'm so
me
glad
it
to hear that you're doing well.
right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It relaxed me so much that I fell asleep at 8 o'clock and didn't wake up till 8 this morning, except for a couple of trips to the, commode.
Yeah, the community has been praying for you and your recovery, especially during the surgery. I think was it March that you had
Yeah.
it? I think from March up until
March
now. So
5th.
we're very happy to see you all right
Believe me,
and doing well.
I had no idea how bad it was till now. It's not there. I mean, the progression of things. It gets into our bones and our psyche, even if it's not attacking your bones actually. But it
Yeah.
does. It becomes part of you. It becomes part of your structure, your skeleton. And it was really showing up on my face. Like I've been outside working in the garden, so big baggy t-shirt and messy hair, no makeup. I still look like I
You look
just got out of
fabulous.
bed. Thank you. But
And I just checked my calendar. We do have the show on my Saturday, your Friday. So
okay.
on Friday, we will be back again together, everyone. So if you've enjoyed us seeing us together, we hope to see you on the Starseed Galactic Akashic Records readings. So
Yeah.
that's a different show. We do Galactic Akashic Records readings there. So if you're interested in getting to know your past lives as a starseed or as a different star being, a different star race, yeah, I hope to see you there and be with us again soon.
Yeah.
For me, I think that's my next show. I have
Okay.
to confirm with someone this week. But yeah, for me, that's my next show. So I hope to see you there, everyone.
There you go.
And again, so is your life written in the stars, or are the stars just another language? One way of interpreting something much bigger than all of us. And maybe our chart is a blueprint. Maybe it's a suggestion, or maybe it's a reflection of something your soul already knew. But here's the part that doesn't change. You still get to choose how you show up. So this wraps up our You Planned Your Life mini series, but I think we're going to get a second part for this show. And there's one thing to take from all of this, it's that your life isn't something happening to you, it's something that you participated in, or you participated in, maybe something that you planned. So let me know what you think in the comments after the show. Do you believe that your blueprint is written in the stars? So thank you so much, everyone, for being with me and Diana today. This is
Thank
Soul
you.
Cloud Connect, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.